Hey guys, how's it going? Kripparrian here. So as you guys know, I have been raiding in World of Warcraft at Midwinter, and it's been a pretty good experience. I've had a lot. As you've seen, we've killed bosses pretty quickly, uh, considering how much time we actually spend, how many attempts we invest in a boss before it dies. And the reason I'm making this video today as opposed to any other day, because today on WoW Progress they released a new feature, which you can see there, where you can see how many times a boss was pulled before it was killed. That is an amazing feature. And the reason I bring this up is this will allow people looking for guilds to better understand what kind of guild they are applying to or they're looking at. Because a lot of people that play World of Warcraft nowadays, they're in the just below the super hardcore range. They really like the raid content, but they don't really want to spend all day every day to farm gear on 6 alts to kill something, and they don't want to they don't want to grind out like 200-300 attempts on one boss. And with this feature, you can actually determine which guilds are killing certain bosses and how fast they're killing them. It's like you look at a guild, you look at the requirements, right? So you want a guild that actually is looking for the kind of class that you want to play. So if you want to play a hunter, you're going to look for a guild that is looking for a hunter. So you're going to go through those guilds, see how progressed they are, see their raid times. The next thing you're going to want to do with this new feature is you're going to want to see on the more or less difficult bosses, obviously considering when they killed them, because killing a boss for the first time and killing it, after you've seen a video and everything, and there's a different story, but nonetheless, you can see how much time they spent on the boss based on how many attempts they pulled the boss. You want to join a guild that is efficient. You don't want to be left behind and have to invest more hours in the game just to keep up with the other guilds, do you? I don't think you do. So you want to look at that, and then you want to try to contact them. You want to try to apply and see what they're about. Get some more details. I usually like to talk to the guild that I'm interested in before I apply, because there's a lot that isn't said on the website. There's a lot that speaks for the guild that you really have to understand by talking to these people. When I was looking for a guild, I was just looking for a guild that was ambitious to do well, because a lot of players out there right now are just kind of doing the WoW thing, playing WoW like it's fucking Facebook, grinding out the attempts to kill the bosses just to hang out with their friends. That's cool and all, but I was really looking for a little bit more than that, and that was really important to me before I applied to the guild. So make sure you're pretty set on what kind of guild it is that you're applying for. So when the application comes, I'll post you guys the application here I sent to Midwinter. So most applications obviously going to be based on what the application format is like, but there's very strict things that you have to keep in mind when you're applying for a guild. I did recruitment for Exodus for many years, and there were certain things that I felt had in common with many other application types that pretty much were like write-offs. So if you guys want a too long didn't read kind of statement, it's like if it has stupid shit on the application, you just deny it, okay? That's pretty much how it worked. Obviously, you give it a little bit of a chance if some other factors are really good. Like if they rated like the best guild ever for a while, and it's just a bunch of dumbass shit on the application, you maybe look into it. But if they're just average Joe Schmo, because of the volume of applications, because of the time that people want to spend to look at them, to read at them, and to go in with these people, you really can't make mistakes. And these are a couple of the mistakes that you cannot be making if you want to get in a good guild. Okay? So the first one is, make sure you actually fill out the application fully. You don't want to half-ass it, but I have to tell you, when you write like fucking textbook wall of, oh my god, like just walls and walls of text of useless information, you don't want to go overboard either. Next is the Armory. If you're looking at the Armory has this thing called, this character has passed the audit, see? And that means I don't have any mistakes on my character, like not using gems or shit like that. So if your character doesn't say that you passed the audit, you're not going to pass the application. You also want to have 2 professions that are maxed and that are useful for your class. If you're a hunter and you have mining, they don't give a fuck that you need to make like another 1,000 gold on the weekend mining nodes, right? They care that you've taken the effort to maximize your character for what they're looking for your DPS, for your tanking ability, or for your healing. But obviously if you're a hunter, you need the DPS, you don't need any more stamina. And the next is that your gear is consistent. So when a lot of people review applications, they don't really know what's good for your class, and usually they'll give you the benefit of the doubt if you think something is good. So if you're out there, if you think you did some research and you found out that, I don't know, maybe crit was the best thing ever on a hunter, right? If you're using all crit gems, they might question a little bit, but it's not so bad because maybe they don't know hunters very well. But if you're using shit like a full crit gem and a full agi gem, just like mixed all over the gear, shit like that, then you're gonna have some problems. It's not about direction, because direction can be misinterpreted in many ways in this kind of game, but it is about consistency. People who look at applications, in good guilds, they're going to look for a very consistent character that everything makes sense. So you have to be very aware of that when you're setting up your character to apply to a guild. The next most important thing is Parses. A lot of people use like World of Logs, used to use like WoW web stats, all the other shit. I don't even know what's out there anymore. But pretty much, it's hard for anyone to really realize how good you are without analyzing the data of what you've done on certain bosses. And without this data, everything on the application needs to be outstanding. You probably need like some kind of reference in the guild and shit, at least a good guild. So you probably are not going to be able to achieve the rest if you don't have any parses. So if you're going to apply to a real guild, even if you're a healer, and especially if you're a DPS, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just like join some crappy guild, join like a pug, do some LFR, just do something to show that you can actually press buttons real well. That's pretty much all there is to it. The next thing is when it comes to like raid UI, raid screenshot, something like that of your interface, it has to look okay. I've seen people have some really dumb shit. Like I've seen people in the past have like the default debuffs and have like their grid like right near it. So if you had like 2 debuffs, you couldn't actually see like the second one. It's just like mind-blowingly bad shit. So you just got to make sure that it's not completely horrible, and you have important things like what I would consider important raid frames and debuff notification, shit like that, to make it seem like you kind of know what you were doing. And the last thing, which I find that is pretty important, is a very clear understanding of why you want to join our guild and why you want to leave your current guild. A lot of people are just looking for the guild that's a little bit better, and if they're applying to my guild and I'm doing the application process, if I see that they're applying to my guild for no concrete reason, like their reason doesn't make sense, or it's clear bullshit, that they just want to join a guild that's a little bit better, and once they join this guild, do okay, they'll find another guild that's a little bit better. Those kind of people are not going to get accepted. So if you're one of those people, I don't know, get really fucking creative. But I don't think a lot of people are, and a lot of people just really struggle at making their point very clear to why they've left the previous guild, or why they're no longer in it, and why they want to join the one that they're applying to. So that's about it. It's really an easy process, but honesty and clarity goes a very long way in this process. And if you guys really take some notes on these tips, I think you guys will find the perfect guild that you've always wanted to raid with, and you'll have just as much fun as I am in World of Warcraft. See you guys tomorrow.